You need a strategy to drive listeners, to take action without putting them off by being too salesy. The call to action strategy, or CTA strategy, that I'm going to walk you through today goes like this. Hint at your high investment CTA during the episode intro. Leave breadcrumbs for your low investment CTAs throughout the conversation. And close the interview by presenting your chosen high and low investment CTAs. Let's just jump right in. First off, you've got to do your homework on who the listeners of this particular show are. Are they business owners? Are they looking for advice about launching a new product? Do they have a brick and mortar business? For example, gym owners. Are they looking to build brand awareness through social media or launch a referral program? And then think about where exactly they are on that journey. Normally we think of CTAs as standalone phrases like these examples here, which yes they are, but I'd encourage you to zoom out a little bit and think about how everything you're saying works together to encourage listeners to take action. That's what it's all about, right? Your whole interview should speak their language, showing you as the expert who can help them achieve their goals. And this will make listeners much more receptive to taking action when you drop your website link or mention the fact that you're on LinkedIn. You should also listen to a couple of episodes and note down the questions that the host tends to ask at the start of the interview so you can be prepared and make a solid first impression. Then listen closely to the end of the interview to see if the host will set you up to share your CTA. All right, now let's talk about the actual CTA itself. Not all CTAs are created equal, and you'll want to offer different options that vary in terms of the perceived level of investment, whether that be time, effort, or financial investment. To simplify it, you can think of your CTAs in two categories. That is low investment and high investment. Now, start off by brainstorming any actions that listeners could take that would bring them closer to you, then put them in the appropriate investment bucket. For example, imagine you're a social media marketing expert. You're appearing on a podcast whose audience is predominantly gym owners who are looking to grow their business, and your ultimate goal is to drive revenue by selling your services to them. A low investment CTAs could be things like connecting with you on LinkedIn, subscribing to your YouTube channel, or downloading a free resource. High investment CTAs could be things like signing up for one of the workshops you regularly offer or booking a consultation. If you're promoting your book or something else very specific, you might only need to note down one high investment CTA, which in this case would be to buy your book. Once you've finished brainstorming, go back through your notes and pick one CTA from each bucket that's the best fit for this podcast audience, and make sure that they're both measurable. That's huge. Like I mentioned earlier, the CTA strategy I recommend to anyone starting out with podcast guesting and hasn't had the experience to review and refine it goes like this. Hint at your high investment CTA during the episode intro. Leave breadcrumbs for your low investment CTAs throughout the conversation, and close the interview by presenting your high and low investment CTAs. Okay, now let's just break that down a little bit. So what do I mean by hinting at your high investment CTA during the intro? On interview style podcasts, the host often asks their guests to mention who they are and what they do to give the audience some context before the discussion begins. So don't waste this, because this is your opportunity to sell yourself as the expert and also generate some curiosity in what you do and what you have to offer. Here's an example of an intro by Evie Pompouras on the Diary of a CEO. Her goal is for people to buy her book. When the podcast host asks her why listeners should stick around and listen, Evie's response resonates with the audience's goal of self-improvement, and she mentions her book in a way that isn't too salesy or pushy. That's her high investment CTA right there. Now, what do I mean by leaving breadcrumbs for your low investment CTAs during the conversation? I'm glad you asked. Well, remember when we brainstormed earlier, we noted things like subscribing to your YouTube channel and connecting on LinkedIn? Well, you need to be ready to just casually mention these throughout the episode. For example, if you're discussing a specific social media marketing tactic, you could mention that you post a lot about this on LinkedIn. While it's not a direct call to action, it can still drive action. Listeners will take a mental note that you are active on LinkedIn. They'll go have a look and possibly end up connecting with you. Now, at the end of the interview, the host will usually invite you to share your CTA. Make sure that you are clear and specific. If your chosen high investment CTA is to sign up for a workshop, tell listeners where they can do that. What's the link? Pair this with your chosen low investment CTA, like subscribing to your YouTube channel, but make it engaging. Using our gym owner example again, you could say something like this. I've got an upcoming social media marketing workshop that you can register at link, fill in the blank here. Or I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and comment on my latest video about your biggest social media struggle. I'll tackle the most common issue in my next video. I like how it's very specific. Also, encouraging action works even better if you back up what you've said during the interview with clickable links. So ask the host to add to your website and social media links to the show notes and make it even easier for listeners to take that steps towards you. So there you have it, a step-by-step guide on how to choose and deliver CTAs as a podcast guest. This way, you won't be missing out on opportunities. If you're looking to book more podcast guest spots or need some data to help you pitch the perfect show for you, don't forget to check out Rephonic's free trial. It's a database of over 3 million shows with listener numbers, social reach, contact information, and loads more stuff. The link is in the description. We'll catch you next time.